What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Sean, what a beautiful day it is. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing so good. I'm doing so excellent. It's Men's Mental Health Month.
Getting right into it. Okay.
I'm locked in mentally. My health is the top priority of our nation, I suppose.
Your health is the top priority?
Yes, yeah, I think so.
You.
Yeah. Well, it's more specifically me than you.
Yes, true.
Your mental health? Come on. Table it.
Don't talk about it this month.
I don't even know if there is a women's mental health month.
Well, June is just men's.
Oh, it's
mental
health.
health is just a part of it. Yeah, it's a health month.
Okay.
I think women's is maybe May. It starts on Mother's Day. We don't get a full month. It's like a
half month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
It's not bad.
Better than nothing, I guess.
Hey, you got to just be appreciative for what you do get. Half a month, not bad. Not bad at all. You know what? I had no idea that it was Men's Health Month until I saw like some posts about it. And this is just a quick observation. The people that I feel like have posted it, because it's also Pride Month. Mm-hmm. The people that I've seen post about Men's Health Month are the same people I feel like that post, what do you need a whole month for? You know, straight people don't get a whole month. You know what I mean? And then they're like, hey, just let everyone know it's Men's Health Month. Do you notice that a little bit?
I hadn't made that correlation, but
you can see it now. You can see it now a little bit. I did, some people, I feel like people really get fired up about like who gets a month or who gets a week. You know what I mean?
My favorite is what like literally everything has a month. If you just like Google it, like any topic that you can think of has its own month. Yeah. So everyone, one that I always see is like, what about our veterans? They don't get their own month, and it's like, yeah, they do. November is Veterans Aware or Veterans. Not awareness. We are aware of our veterans.
Yes.
Why can't I think of the word?
I don't know.
Whatever. It's Happy Veterans Month.
Happy Veterans Month.
They do get their own month. You just gotta Google it. If your thing doesn't have a month, you just might not be aware of it. Just give it a Google. It probably has one.
That's true. I just don't get it. I don't understand why people get so worked up about like, oh, this thing's got a month. Where's my month, huh? Where's my month? I need a month.
Everybody needs.
It's a way of
needs a thing.
It's a way of crying out for help.
I think so. Yeah.
Which is why June as Men's Health Month is so important. Circling it all back. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Obviously, construction is a bit of a male. I don't want to say dominated. That sounds offensive to women. It's a predominantly male industry. How about that? Is that how you would describe it?
Yes, that is exactly how I would describe it.
Okay, so I think
I do appreciate that distinction though, because dominating makes it sound like you guys are you're crushing it.
We let you guys in.
Are dominating.
Yeah, we let you guys in, and you should be appreciative of that. But while on the job site, we're gonna call you dude or bro or brother.
Well, that part's just true.
I mean, that part's honestly true, because I don't see gender. I just see everyone as my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, dog.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about men's mental health and physical health as well, I suppose. And I think it's something a lot of people can relate to. So, and since I'm the only man on this podcast, you can also chime in with your mental health kind of stuff. Just pretend you're a dude for the rest of this month.
You know what? I don't need to make things about me right now. This is about you and your fellow man. We'll stick with you guys.
When you say my fellow man, that's not my fellow men. My council of kings. My tribe.
Okay. Sorry.
Of alpha males. See, in my tribe, we're all alpha.
I'm getting real squirrely already.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. See, this is the importance of talking about men's mental health. Most men are nuts. Yeah. They're crazy. All right, so what else you got going on? You got anything exciting going on?
Oh, gosh, so much. It's summer.
It is. Summer is upon us. It is upon us.
Summer is upon us, and all the summer things are summering, so it is busy over here.
Oh, it absolutely
got lots going
is. Oh, yeah.
I got a big regatta this weekend.
A regatta?
Yep.
I'm more of a mozzarella guy myself. What is it? A sailing regatta you got?
This is a sailing regatta.
You got a regatta?
Yeah. It's called the Governor's Cup, although we do invite the governor every year, but no governors ever come, which is kind of rude.
That is kind of rude.
Right?
I think so.
Like, what else are they doing? Just come down to this little sailing race. It'd be fun.
I don't know. How do you get the Governor's Cup?
You win it.
But where does it come from? Do you get it directly from his jockstrap? You like that?
I didn't know where you're going with that.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
I figured you did.
Good job.
Thank you. That's probably why he doesn't come. He's like, where's my cup? I got a baseball game coming up. You like
good one? 10 out of 10, Sean. That was a good one.
Thank you. I hope you use that this weekend.
I might recycle that one. I might.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So what do you got going on?
Oh,
how's business going?
How's business?
Or personal.
Business or personal. Everything's going pretty well. It is summer. Went in the pool yesterday.
Oh, no way.
For the second time.
Cold?
A little cold.
Okay.
I went in last week. Max was like, can we go swimming? Can we go? Please, someone go swimming with me. Oh. So finally I was like, all right, whatever. I'll go in. I get in. He's like, go underwater. I go underwater. You know, it's freezing in there.
Is he in there? Is he also freezing?
No, he wanted me to get in first. And then he goes in like 8 inches to the second step. He said, it's too cold. I'm getting out. I'm like, you just literally begged me for like an hour and a half, and I kept saying it's too cold. And then I get all the way in. He steps into the second step. He's like, it's too cold. I'm getting out of here. I'm like, all right, thanks, dude. So yesterday we actually did go swimming. And still a little cold, but it was nice.
But he had a good time.
He had a that time, yeah.
I love it when little kids go swimming and they're like, their lips are blue and they're shivering and they're like, I'm not cold. This is so fun. I'm not cold.
That is exactly what happened yesterday. He's like, I want to stay in. He's like, like, you're freezing. You're freezing. And
that's fun, though.
Little man, it's Men's Health Month. Shivering like that's probably not good for you, so we're going to get you out of the pool. He's practicing for his future ice plunges. Yeah, there you go. Speaking of ice plunges, we've been getting insane on the job site with scaring each other.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I do have this theory that Steve, especially, I've been terrorizing him, and I'm starting to feel a little bit. I think that what I'm doing is I'm gonna break through his fight or flight response. And it's basically the same benefit as a cold plunge. You know, at first you're like, oh my God, it's so cold. You know, I'm scaring him so much that eventually he's just going to be unflappable.
Yeah.
Or create some sort of like
break down his whole nervous system. It's perfect.
Post-traumatic stress. Yeah. So
he really does get so scared, and I don't know if he's just not like spatial. You're just walking behind him, and just yelling behind him, and it scares him so bad.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if he's not spatially aware.
No, most of the time that I get him, he's like, I knew you were there too. Because I'll just stand there, but he doesn't know when like the loud noise is coming.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh, hey, what do we got going on? How's the video coming? And then he'll be like looking at it, and I'll wait like 35 seconds. And then I'll just be like, and he gets so scared. It's really funny. So I recommend doing that. I think job site scares are such an underrated morale booster. You know?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that or no?
Scared. I love it. I think it's hilarious, and I enjoy scaring people, planning scares, being scared. I think it's all very fun. I suppose there are people that probably wouldn't like it, but boring.
Well, yeah, boring. You ain't gonna make it around Premier Outdoor Living because all we do is scare people. That's all we do. All right, so let's just get right into it, I guess. Men's Health Month. I keep wanting to say mental health. Men's Health Month.
Well, for the sake of this podcast, we're mostly going to focus on mental health because obviously physical health, incredibly important. You should be going to the doctor, which statistically, women live longer, or men with wives live longer because women are telling them to go to the doctor. So,
I don't think. You think that's the reason?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I'm sure it's like a compounding thing, but it's definitely because
men that are
they
just
have
like
someone
by themselves
else.
are just lonely, and then just are like, do they just die?
Hey, that's rude.
If you're like really old and you're just, I guess that seems a little rude.
Some people like to be by themselves.
Okay.
You can't just say just because they're not booed up, they're lonely and they're just gonna die alone. They might have other people that love them.
Okay, all right, good point. Sorry, I jumped to judgment there. The importance is we need...
lonely old man might be listening to this and be like, oh.
Well, this is his, I'm sure there's dating apps for old single men.
Yeah.
Like, what would it be called?
Find love.
Plenty of wrinkles? Kind of like Plenty of Fish. Let's think of some other ones.
Okay.
Instead of Bumble, it's Mumble. They're old and they don't make any sense. All right. Well,
I was gonna work gray hair in a grinder somehow, but I can't.
Keep working on that.
I'll workshop it.
That would be a beautiful
I'll come back
one
to you.
for. That would be a great one for Men's Health Month and Pride Month.
Oh, the intersection of it both. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff there. All right. Well, men's health. So, do you? What do we got here? Do we got any type of specific topics we want to dive into? Is it just going to be all on me to unload all of these mental health struggles? It's a therapy session.
This is actually a therapy session.
This is how most of these feel.
This is all. Everything's on you. You got to really crack open your heart here. No, it's something that's very important to talk about because mental health specifically, physical health also incredibly important to take care of that. But mental health, in the trades, there's such a stigma of like tough guy mentality and work till you die and burnout isn't real and there's definitely an air of that and in construction I think it's definitely like when you work in other industries that are more balanced with men and women and you have things like HR and you're being forced to take vacations and doing all the things, I think it's a little bit different than construction because it's men making rules for men and then it just becomes like a kind of male breeding ground for ideas which then turn into like macho-ness competitions and then that kind of just leads itself to don't ever take breaks or if you cry you are a baby. So I think that it's very important to talk about in this industry specifically because it just lends itself so much to just like overworking yourself, not seeking out help. But I will say I have talked to so many men in this industry now, like going to these shows, you talk to people, you have conversations, and I don't know if it's because I'm a woman they feel comfortable talking to me about these things, but I feel like I have never met a man who was like, yeah, mentally I'm like totally fine. Everyone is like, yeah, I kind of had this like little mentee B, and I,
What's a mentee B? A mental break?
Mental breakdown.
Mental breakdown. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Where they're like, like I was having panic attacks, or I thought I was having a heart attack, but then it turned out to just be anxiety, or so many men are suffering with this stuff in silence when they don't have to. And sure, maybe you don't want to talk to your coworkers about it, but there's plenty of other options of like how to better take care of yourself, or seek out the help that you need in some other productive way, or learn coping mechanisms or something. So I feel like maybe the tide has shifted a little bit towards men more talking about their feelings, but for the most part, I do think that, every man I've talked to is like, yeah, I really do. I suffer with anxiety pretty good, or
they're just they're dying for a listening ear.
Yeah,
I think it's mainly because you're a woman. But you also just might have, like, the same thing happens to Sarah all the time. Anytime that, like, we go anywhere, or like when we go on like the Decorators Pro Summit trip, she usually comes with me. Everyone always, like, opens up to her in, like, the craziest ways. I think it's partially because she's a therapist, and, like, that just, like, she seems like a safe space to share things, but, like,
yeah, or maybe she asks the right questions.
Probably a little bit of both. But always people are, like, just getting into, like, the most deep, like, conversations with her and being like, oh my God, I had all this trauma as a child. And it's like, I think that there is this need for a lot of men that have suppressed things for so long to just, like, unload it somewhere. And, like, when they finally feel like I have a space to do this, they're just like, yeah, oh my God, I'm struggling so much. And it is, and I feel like I never get that initiated from somebody else. Like, when we're at, say, the same trade show, and somebody, you're talking to somebody and they're like, I have a lot of anxiety and mental health. Like, people just feel safe unloading that onto a woman for some reason. As soon as, if I bring it up in some capacity, it's always met with, oh yeah, oh my God, I had I got the same thing going on. It's crazy. But it's always like, man to man, nobody wants to bring it up first or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like
no one wants to be the first person to break down that wall. Like,
yeah,
I'm struggling a little.
I'm weak. Beta over here, not an alpha. Who do I submit to? I just need to follow along. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird because there's like these two. I feel like as we talk about this, it seems like a lot of these things are talked about so much more. Like, I feel like there is a lot of people talking about men's mental health and, like, being okay with, like, going to therapy, or just, like, talking to other men or talking to anybody about this stuff. But then there's also, I feel like, as I'm thinking about it, such a movement of, like, this alpha. You can't be weak. You have to be strong. And they're like at odds with each other. And I feel like a lot of men just, like, kind of don't know where they should fit into that. You know what I mean? It's like they're looking for some guidelines of, like, what do I do? How do I find fulfillment? How do I find purpose in this life? Like, do I find purpose from, like, being the strong provider of my family and, like, just being like, oh, I'm the tough guy? I think there's a lot of people, like, that talk like that. Like, you listen to other podcasts and stuff, and, you see these people that scream at people on Instagram and, motivational seminars. And it's like, I think that a lot of men just, like, don't know where to find their purpose and their meaning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sort of?
Yeah, where people, like, place their
worth. You wouldn't get it. You're not a man, so.
I'm not a man, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think the saying is, like, you're the combination of the 5 people you're closest to. So I also think if you are only surrounding yourself with that kind of person as well, then it kind of just bolsters that, like, I gotta be tough and provide for my family, and I can't talk about anything being weak because that's what all my boys do. Like, I gotta, I gotta keep this facade up. But I also don't know what I want my facade to be. What kind of guy am I?
Yeah. I think there's, like, a lack of identity. People need an identity, and they're just not sure what it is. And I think that leads to a lot of these mental health issues. I think a lot of men have undiagnosed anxiety disorders and stress disorders and possibly depression. Like, I just think there's a lot of things going on that at the root of it are just, I feel like they're just not sure where to find meaning and how they can have impact. You know what I mean? like what am I? Am I the provider? Like what is the thing that I can be anchored to? What is the idea that I can be attached to? Is it I'm the provider? Is it I'm the strong person? Do I need to keep everything together for everybody around me? Do I need to be more emotionally available? Like what is it that the people around me need and the things I need for myself to, feel like I have more purpose? You know what I mean?
Yes. Is that what you feel?
That's how I feel. Yeah, a lot of times. That's how I feel a lot of times. And I think that's like the big appeal to religion or cults or any of these like coaching things, like these type of movements. I think they give you a guide, like they give you a playbook, they give you a guideline of, rules to live by, or they just give you some sort of structure that makes people feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I think men especially. And with that,
I think it's also a little bit community based. Like they're not only are you looking introspectively and trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do, it's also kind of nice to outsource that to a community. Yeah, this community is. I identify with this community. I like this community. I like where this is headed. Yeah. They're telling me what to do. I like that. Yeah. So I feel independent.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think
then the lines get blurred, and then you join a cult.
Yeah. Which would probably be like nice. You know what I mean? Like it would probably
for a little bit, yeah, until it implodes. Yeah.
Like I just feel like I can see the appeal to it, to just like, completely unload that. Like I think everyone as a human has in the back of their mind, like, what's the whole point of this? Why are we here? What's the purpose of life? Like, it might not be at the forefront of our brains all the time, but like somewhere in the back, it's just like, are we just kind of floating on a rock in the middle of, an infinite universe and everything that we do is completely meaningless? Or is there some sort of purpose here? Yeah. I think that
you want to feel like you're working towards the greater good.
Yeah, that existential question is always there at the very back of your mind. Mm-hmm. And I think like just completely unloading that and being like, this is what this is the point of everything. This cult leader that I'm following has all the answers, was put here by the creator of the universe, and all I have to do is follow them and drink this Kool-Aid and lay down in this bed, and then we're going to go into space or whatever. That must be so nice to just wholeheartedly believe that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think, yeah. I think you're just yeah.
Because overall, not a healthy way to go about it, but I just see the appeal.
You're removing the worry. I feel like it's less so about like what you're believing in, and more so about just relinquishing the worry to something else, to someone else. Something else.
Yeah, or letting go of control. You
didn't have it in the first place.
Exactly. I think that's one of the biggest things for me, and just we haven't really talked about this in a while, so maybe I'll start by like kind of recounting my journey of realizing that I have mental issues.
Okay.
Should we start there?
Let's start there. Start from the beginning.
Okay, so the year is 2016. I'll start from the very beginning. I never thought
the year was 1988.
The year was 1988. No, the year was 1987. No. I was going to start with conception, but that was also in 88. I was born in October.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
What?
Does this make sense? I could have been conceived on Valentine's Day?
No.
No, that would be
unless you were premature.
Yeah, okay. All right, anyway. The real story here started in 2017. I never thought that I was an anxious person. Always felt like I had everything under control, calm, cool, collected, all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. And I remember the very specific day and moment that it all fell apart. And that was, I was at the time training for a marathon. And doing a lot of, obviously, long distance running. So that morning I'd run 13 miles, and it was middle of the summer. I think it was August, and it was really hot and everything. So I get home, then we go to my brother's out in PA. So it's like an hour drive, and I got a cold brew coffee. I'd never had a cold brew. So I have that. Everything's fine. And then on the way back from there, a couple hours later, probably like 5-6 hours later, we're driving back from PA. I'm on 95, and I just feel like this insane, like, feeling that I'm about to die and everything has gone horribly wrong. And
while you were driving?
While I'm driving. And I'm just like, I feel like I can't breathe. I don't know what's going on. I'm so scared for no reason. And I'm just like clenching on. I don't say anything to Sarah. She's with me. Because I'm just like, I feel like if I say something out loud about this, it's going to make it that much more real. And it's just going to like completely implode. So I'm just like gripping the steering wheel and gritting my teeth and like, I don't know what's going on. I'm literally white knuckling it. And then I think when I get home, I finally am just like, I think I'm dying. I'm going to die. I think I'm having a heart attack. And Sarah, she's a therapist. So she's like, you know, maybe a little bit of her was like, yeah, you know, maybe you do need to go to the hospital. But mostly she's like, all right, finally, here it comes. You're having a panic attack. And it was something that it was so foreign to me, like this feeling of just existential dread that you're going to die. And you don't know how, like, you just feel like your lungs are collapsing on themselves and you're just going to just die.
Yeah.
I had never felt that before, and it was so scary. And I just attributed it to, okay, I ran a lot. I was probably dehydrated. I drank like a super caffeinated coffee, and I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll feel fine. I woke up tomorrow the next day and I did not feel fine. I still had this tightness in my chest that just felt like everything could like just break apart at any second. So I went to the doctor and I was just like, there's something wrong with me, obviously. Something's off with my blood levels or something. The thyroid. They always test the thyroid. I might have a thyroid problem. Get all the blood work back. Totally fine. Healthy as a mule. And hearing that in that moment is like the worst thing that you can hear, because you're just like,
you want an answer.
Yeah. You want an answer. You want to be like, oh, you're deficient in B6.
Yeah, take these pills, you'll be fine.
Take these pills, you're fine. Now, for anxiety, they do have different pills that you can take. And that was like the beginning of it. It was like, okay, it's true. Everything's completely fine. And it's just mental, and I'm having panic attacks. And it took almost, and it's still something that I deal with and have to manage and all that kind of stuff. But for literally at least an entire year, it was like an everyday thing that like almost controlled my life. And it was horrible. It was the worst thing. It was like the worst year and a half of my life. It was really, really terrible. I hate it. If anyone's had a panic attack, you know how horrible they are.
Yeah.
So that was the initial feeling of, oh my God, maybe I am an anxious person, but I've just been suppressing it for so long that it had to explode in this Pompeii-style volcanic blast of panic. And that's exactly what happened. And one of the scariest things about it was I just felt like there's something so mentally wrong with me that's broken, because I don't know anybody else that has had this issue. I don't know. Everyone else is just doing great and is fine, and I am broken and I'll never be better. And then, you start kind of bringing it up like, yeah, I've actually been like having these like, a heart issue, and it might, like, people are saying it's anxiety, but I don't think so. And then you talk to people about it and they're like, oh yeah, it's probably a panic attack. I've had those. And it's like, well, why didn't anybody say anything about this before?
Yeah.
Because I just had to spend like months of my life thinking that I am a broken, insane person and that I'm never going to get better. And literally every single like male friend that I started talking to, besides a couple, we're like, oh yeah, oh, I had that exact moment. I know exactly what you mean, where you feel like you're completely fine your entire life, and then you feel like in an instant everything shatters, and you don't know what is wrong with you. It happens to like so many people.
Yep.
And that confirmation that I wasn't completely insane, a little bit insane, but not completely just bonkers, was so comforting. Like, like that is the benefit of talking about it. I think that people get caught up in this thing like, why do you got to talk about it? What, do you just want attention for yourself? And it's not about that. It can be for some people, I guess, but the main reason that we say, let's talk about it, is so that when, maybe there's someone listening to this that next week is going to have that, Dr. Pimple Popper anxiety moment, where that big pustule has been building up for so long and it finally just blows. Was that a good pimple panic metaphor?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
You did a volcano on a pimple. You're good.
Stakes are high for the next one. I don't know what it's going to be.
You're really painting a picture here.
Yeah. But maybe someone's going to go through that for the first time next week, and they're going to be like, oh, okay, I've heard about this. I know what this is. I don't need to be terrified, and I can know that, this can get better.
Right.
I've been managing it, I'd say, successfully for like the past 6 years, 5 or 6 years. And it's a combination of a lot of things, but in that moment, like when that was first happening, and I would say, when it initially happened and I'm driving in the car and I had that panic attack, that was so scary. But the scarier thing was, thinking, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel completely normal again. And then I woke up and I didn't. I still had this feeling like panic was about to set in at any second. That was like the scariest thing. That's when I thought in that moment, like, I'm never going to be the same again. Like the old me is dead and now I am this panicked person. Mm-hmm. And once I started talking to other people about it, it was like, okay, you went through this, but you seem totally fine. And they're like, yeah, I still deal with it. There's flare-ups that happen, but now I'm more aware of it. And I've developed coping skills that help me with it. And it's funny. I was just thinking about it last night because I knew that we were going to talk about this. And, you think that, you were never an anxious person, or, that you were just like not the type of person that would have anxiety or panic attacks. And then I can think of like so many things in my like youth where it's like, yeah, that's the actions of an anxious kid or teen. Like it didn't present itself in that physical panic, but like there was tons of anxiety and all of that stuff growing up that I just like didn't recognize and brushed off and shoved it down. And eventually it comes back if you don't deal with it. And that's like, that's the, that's peeling apart the onion of your brain and your consciousness. Like it does get stored somewhere. You really can't just ignore things forever.
Yep.
Well, maybe you can. And if you're going on a really long streak at this point, keep it up. We're holding out hope for you. This is way easier that way to just shove it all down.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, go ahead.
With things like anxiety and depression, they present so differently at like your different stages of awareness about it. Because I had the same thing too. Like I had a panic attack for the first time when I was in high school, and I was just convinced I was going insane. And I was like, well, it's a straight drive down the road to the mental institution, because this is my life now. Like I'm going insane. And then as soon as I realized that I wasn't, and it was just like something that, you find camaraderie with somebody and you're like, oh, okay, this is like, people just do that. This is what human brains do. Yeah. It's trying to protect me from something in the most inconvenient way possible, but like, this is just what brains do. Then you start to feel it in your body differently, and you become aware of like that pre-feeling of a panic attack, and you can kind of shift your thought process, or you can realize like if you have, like, I have flight anxiety, so I can feel it in my stomach. I'm so aware in my brain, like, I know that this is just anxiety and I'm totally fine, but my body is telling me that you might barf right now for no reason. So, like, you become aware of, like, the different places that you feel it in your body. But when you're not used to those feelings and it is that first time, you are kind of like, what is happening? Because my body is betraying my mind. I know I'm fine. I know nothing's wrong right now, but my body is telling me and trying to protect me in some kind of way. I still don't understand that. But there's like, and with anxiety, there is a lot of that, like cyclical thinking that's anxiety, or ruminating, and there's lots of like thought processes that happen, but it is also so within your body. And depression is the same way. Like one of the statistics that I was reading for this podcast was about depression and how it's so underdiagnosed in men because A, they're not seeking help, and B, because so many signs of depression are just known as like masculine features, like irritability and aggression are like two of the top indicators for male depression or whatever. But people are just like, oh, he's just a manly man. He just gets really fired up at work for no reason. Like, that's just okay. That's just what men do. Yeah. But really, like, that can be, a sign of something else. So it is interesting to kind of like be more aware about how these things present. Because your brain and your body have this connection, but also like a disconnect. Like you can be thinking in your mind, like, I'm totally fine right now. Why do I feel this way? But it's just like that disconnect where your body's not doing the best job communicating with itself.
It's like a one-way circuit. It's like your brain is causing the body to panic, but it can't make it stop. It's like, I know I sent you the signal that we are being attacked by, like, it's kind of like an evolutionary thing. Like, I know the body feels like I'm being attacked by a lion on the plains right now, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Please send that message that everything's fine. I'm sitting inside my home and everything's wonderful right now, actually. It would be a great time to just totally relax.
Yeah.
No lions, no bears. Nothing's trying to eat me right now.
Yeah. I wonder what the correlation is between driving and panic attacks, because I also feel like that's another thing. People always say their first panic attack is when they're driving. So I wonder if it's like you're in a situation and then you get to the comfort of your car and it like happens or something, but I was just noticing that as you said it.
Yeah, that is true. I have heard that quite a few times. I think really, so let's talk about some, now that we've talked about the horrible memories of anxiety and panic, let's talk about some of the things that I started to do to notice and to incorporate into my life to make it more manageable. And number one is just getting back into your body. So like when you're driving, you can't get up, you can't walk around, you can't, do all of these things. So I think that probably is a reason that it kind of attacks you there, because you're trapped. Exactly. And one of the things that really helped me was, okay, if I start having like this anxiety, like do some grounding things that get me like back into my body. So like splashing cold water on your face can be really good. It just like, it's like, hey, I'm here now. Everything is fine. I'm breathing. I am good. Just walking around is really good. All of those things to like mentally, give you something else to sort of like focus on. So you're not just focused on the fact that you think you can't breathe right now, when in fact you are and you're fine. So that's been really helpful for me, is like, number one, noticing the seeds of what that anxiety eventually looks like. You know what I mean? Like there are these little signs, like you talked about, that lead up to this full-blown panic. And if you are not aware of them, it just seems like that panic comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't. You start to realize the signs of it. And sometimes for me, it is like, mine's very like physical in my body. So it feels like I can't breathe. It feels like I'm getting nauseous. And just recognizing like just the littlest hint of that, I can kind of like start to rein it in and, do some breathing and just like, really nice, deep, slow breath through my nose, out my mouth, it just like kind of helps to start to reset my body and feel more at peace. Like it really is a biological thing that doing some breathing exercises can slow down your heart rate a little bit. Like it's a sign, it's a mechanism for your body to calm itself down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So doing things like that and recognizing it early are super helpful to get it to not escalate to the point where it's full-blown panic. And then there's just other things that you need to like incorporate into your life that help keep that stuff at bay. And one of those things is just talking to other people, whether that's a therapist, whether it's a friend, a family member. Talking about it is so important. Mm-hmm. And I started going to therapy after all this stuff started happening. And I always felt like, and I still do, like, I don't have anything to talk about. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I have to say anything. But the thing that really helped me with was when you're forced to sit there with somebody for an hour and it's somebody that you feel comfortable with, you just like start talking and you're not even sure where it goes. But like, if you're forced to sit there and have to put words to how you feel, you start to understand it a little bit better.
Yes.
So like
100%.
The emotions like inside of you've just been suppressing for so long, you haven't had to put words to them. You don't really recognize them and understand them until you try to like unpack it. Mm-hmm. And for me, I felt like going to a therapist was the best way for me to do that, because it's not like like trying to hide things from even Sarah or friends or family. Like, it's not like I'm trying to not talk about things. It's just I don't feel like I have anything to talk about until I'm in a therapy session and I'm gonna have to sit there for an hour and I have to talk about something. So you just start talking, and then it's like, sometimes it makes no sense and you're just like, but sometimes you're just like, oh wow, I feel like I just made like a pretty profound connection with like where some of this comes from. Mm-hmm. So that was super helpful to me, like just talking about it. And maybe if you have really close friends that like you just talk about stuff like that with, maybe you don't need to go to therapy, but I found it really helpful because like you're just paying that person to sit there and listen to you and help you, pull these things out, find some little tidbits that start to make sense,
Yeah.
You're like a little squirrel in the forest leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. And we got to see where those breadcrumbs lead back to.
Yeah.
And so that's something I recommend. It's been super helpful to me. And, I go through periods where I'll see a therapist for a while and then I won't. And then I feel like I need to go back. And that's one of those things where you start to recognize the signs. Like, I feel like, a lot more anxious lately. Let me talk to a therapist again and just kind of get back to feeling like myself again. And it's super helpful. So something to think about.
It absolutely is. And it's, it's a trained professional who's a third party. Like, they're not, it's not like your partner or your mom or your friend or something that has like pre-existing opinions on things or a stake in what you might be talking about or something. Yeah. It's like a completely separate third party. They're going to help you work through it, and then you bring that into your regular life with all of the people that you love and care about, and you're a more grounded, thoughtful person because you've worked on all of these things in therapy. And you're better able to present at home and at work and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I used to not present well anywhere.
No.
I did not present well.
I remember.
Now I remember now I know how to be like a normal human, sort of. I'm like a real humanoid. But yeah, I think we'll kind of leave it there. But a lot of people have these things going on, and they either haven't taken the time to understand it and just talk about it. And like literally, the number one thing that just helped me more than anything was that initial confirmation that it wasn't just me, that this is something that's somewhat normal and regular, and I guess the last thing that I'll leave you with is I heard, I don't know if I read this or somebody told me or something, but that anxiety is you living in the future and depression is you living in the past. And that always really resonated with me because I don't really identify as somebody that like is depressed. Really, it's more of like an anxious thing because I'm always thinking about like what's next. I don't sit there and like some people have the tendency to dwell on the past. Like, oh my God, I wish I could have changed this thing that I did. I never think like that. I don't, that's like a bit of a blessing, I guess. I'm just like, oh, whatever. But I'm always so fixated on what does the future look like? What can I do to improve the future? Like, it's always about this next thing and this future goal. And that's anxiety, is living in the future. You know, you're going through these things that haven't even happened yet, and it can be very anxiety producing. So I start to recognize that, and you know, when I feel those feelings, I'm like, okay, this is because I'm thinking about something that's coming up in 4 months, and I don't need to think about it right now. Take some deep breaths, be in the moment, and then it starts to kind of let go.
Well, thank you so much for being so open and vulnerable with all of us. And I think maybe you might have helped somebody today. Maybe.
It's something I had to work on. I was not open.
Yeah.
But I didn't think there was anything to open. I thought you'd open up my soul and there'd just be dust. I didn't think there was anything in there. But really...
A moth flying around.
Turns out I have a soul.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Deep down, yeah. There's something in there.
There might be. We're still unpacking it, so we're not totally sure. It's like storage. When you finally do open this up and realize all these things about yourself, it's like Storage Wars. It's like you just got a storage unit. It's yours now. You don't know what the hell's in there. There could be treasures. There could be horrible things.
It could be exciting or it could be not exciting.
It could be scary. It could be rabid family raccoons in the back of the storage unit that you didn't know about. Or it could be
timeless Rolex.
Oh yeah, or I was thinking like a pre-World War I commemorative sword. Something like that.
Okay.
With men, it always comes back to swords.
Yeah, you gotta go weaponry.
Yeah,
that.
Always. So, okay, I guess now last thing is also check your nuts and your butt for just the health part. Check your nuts
Thank
for
you for
lumps.
bringing that out back. Yeah.
And have a doctor put their finger up your butt, I guess, for a prostate exam.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't think that's till you're in your 40s, though.
Is that when that starts? 40?
I'm not sure. 40's coming up, and I'm really scared.
Yeah, look into it. Might be time for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's lighten it up a little bit.
Oh,
let's lighten it up a little bit, and let's get into some construction trivia. All right, I think you won last week.
No, we tied. We're
this is insane.
We are
insane. Somebody needs to win
tied.
today. We need to. This is crazy. Somebody needs to win today. All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
All right. I did all of my questions about plants and landscaping because you talked about, kind of taking over some of the landscaping decisions on our designs, which I thought was cool. So I did. This is to see if you're qualified.
Oh no!
So
pop quiz.
Pop quiz. Yeah, good. You're not supposed to be prepared.
Okay, perfect.
All right. The United States is divided into 13 zones according to the United States Department of Agriculture Plant Hardiness Zone Map.
Yes.
True or false?
Oh. Well, good question, because I know it is. I don't know if there's 13, though, because we're in 7. So I would imagine. I don't know, because when you get out west, there's probably a lot. It's not like. East Coast is probably just linear. Out there, it's probably more segmented. I guess true.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'll go true.
It is true. Good job. Good job. I didn't realize. I knew that we were in zone 7. I didn't realize that. There was so many, but totally makes sense. And It is according to temperature, mostly. So it also most the zones also have subsets like a 7A or a 7B. So really, there's like almost 26 zones because each one kind of has some more specificity to it. Specificity? That word?
Yeah, I think that's a word.
Okay, cool. All right, so good job. Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I also went with the theme.
What is it? Is it concrete again?
Our favorite little T-bits. Tiny T-bits. You know T-bits?
T-bits? What?
T-bits.
Like star bits?
Star bits, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. T-bits. We use them regularly in
I feel like
carpentry.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Do you want me to call it star bit?
Yeah.
You prefer that?
It's a star bit that is a T20 or a T25. I just don't like it. T-bit. Give me a T-bit. You can do whatever you want. I don't know. Maybe I'll get used to it. I just never heard it like that.
Okay.
I don't really know.
A star bit.
Okay. Now that sounds kind of weird.
All right, let me get the question out.
All right, sorry.
T/star bit.
Okay, yeah.
That we use every day.
Mm-hmm.
They're widely used in construction.
Okay, yes.
True or false, they are also widely used in electronics due to their non-slipping.
I'm going to say false.
That's wrong. They are.
It's true?
Yeah.
Ah,
They are widely used in
Damn it!
electronics as well.
I'm such an idiot.
Construction and electronics are the two things that they are mostly used for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess I don't take apart a lot of electronics, but I feel like the battery covers on things are always Phillips head.
Yeah, this is like more so like the insides.
Yeah,
guts.
yeah. I get you. All right,
if you're
I'm just
replacing batteries. You need to have like household tools, which would be a Phillips head flathead.
Yeah. Good point. Okay, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Okay. All right, go ahead next.
All right. What is xeriscaping? You heard of xeriscaping?
Xeriscaping or xeriscaping?
It's xeriscaping. Xeriscaping.
Never heard of it, but I'll
all
try to
right,
use
perfect. All right, and for the future, I've just started doing 3 multiple choice. 4 is just too many. 4 is just too many. Okay, what is xeriscaping? Is it using exclusively native plants, using drought-resistant plants to eliminate irrigation, or using no plants in a landscape design?
I'm gonna say not the first one because that would probably be something like maybe terrascaping or something. I wouldn't think that would be like a zero word. Just going on the words here. Kind of sounds like zero. Not. Drought-resistant planting would probably. I guess I'm gonna go drought.
Good job! You got it! Great job! Yeah, it's
right.
using drought-resistant plants to eliminate irrigation. And, it's part of, the sustainability kind of movement and all that kind of stuff. Because water is a valuable resource.
Sure is, my goodness.
Is.
Especially in those other zones that are drought. Well, actually, we just don't
call them
drought the other
other
day,
zones. Different
other
zones.
Different zones.
They're not like us. They're other zones. You know.
Oh, you got your desert
zones.
zones. They're
They're just different. Don't be othering. It's a word I learned from you. All right, hit me.
Okay, what year was the star bit / T-bit invented?
Ooh.
Think about that.
Okay.
Do you think it's been around your entire lifetime or not? A, 1917. B, 1954. C, 1967. Or D, 1999. What do you got? Star bit.
Say it again. Not the first one. I don't think it's the first one. What was the second one?
54.
54.
67.
67.
Or 99.
99. Tough. 99. I'm gonna say 67.
Correct.
Yeah.
Great job.
Right. I feel like it's the first time I've worked through it mentally and actually gotten it right. I feel like you do that all the time and you do get it right. What the hell's wrong with me? God.
Sometimes you just need to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. What's your last one?
What is a coniferous plant?
Coniferous plant is coniferous. Deciduous. Coniferous.
It's a very specific definition.
Yeah. Coniferous. I don't know.
Not
Something
a good look.
about it is a cone.
What?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like echinacea or coneflower. Cone. The middle part's cone.
The middle part's a cone? Say it in a way that makes any type of sense. Like, say in a sentence that like I can understand. I feel like you're just saying words that I'm not
Well, I don't think that's the answer.
Well, present something as an answer.
Okay. You want me to present an answer? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Present an answer, please.
Coniferous. I don't know. I want to know so badly. Oh,
Just
God.
Put something together. You're going to know. I'm going to tell you the answer if you're wrong.
I'm going to be wrong.
It's okay.
Coniferous. I'm going to go with the roots grow in a cone shape as opposed to a sprawling shape.
That is a excellent guess, but it is wrong. You were so close. You were so close. It is a plant that produces cones. A pine cone. I don't know what other type of cones there are, but there are.
Son of a bitch.
You were so close.
I should have known that. I should have known that.
Well, you know, I live out here in the Pine Barrens, so we got a lot of coniferous plants.
I knew that it was like carnivorous or deciduous. I know that those are the two options of trees.
No, that's not true.
Well, they are two options of trees.
They are two options.
I don't know how many options.
All right,
probably
just little extra pop quiz for half a point.
How many options of trees are there? A lot, probably.
No, that wasn't my question.
Oh.
What does deciduous mean?
Deciduous means that it has leaves that fall.
Yes, it loses its leaves. Good job. Because then you have evergreen, which don't. And then usually coniferous plants are evergreens. But they are a subset of cone producing.
No. No.
No what?
Like a pine tree produces pine cones.
Yes.
And pine needles. They lose their pine needles.
Yeah, but no, they don't. No, they like shed them sort of, but they don't like go through seasonal loss.
Okay.
Like they're not barren in the winter.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Don't test me on my coniferous knowledge. It's
Sorry.
top notch.
Sorry. All right, last.
All right, hit me with a chance to tie.
Even though I don't like calling them T-bits, they are known as T-bits. What does the T stand for?
Shoot. That's. It's not somebody's name, but maybe it is.
Tommy
Bit. I have no clue.
You want me to help you walk through this? Now that you're working through things?
Yeah, please. Come on, it's Men's Health Month.
Right,
Give me something to work with here. All right.
Well, actually, if I help you get this right, then we tie, right?
Yeah, that would be so selfless of you. Just give me like a little bit of a guideline.
Right. What, like, when you're working through like why someone might change the head of a screw, what is a contributing factor that helps?
Oh, it's a torque bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I know that. I knew that.
Yeah. See, I knew you would know it.
Yeah.
There you go. Great job.
Torques. It's with an X.
Torque screw. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much for helping me tie. That was so selfless of you. Wow.
Oh, wow.
You've grown so much.
I'm a nice person.
Wow. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and approve. You can have your own month.
Oh, thank
Catherine
you so much.
month. Catherine Awareness Month. Good
Everyone
job.
should be aware of me. Yes, they should.
Totally something you would say. All right. Well, that's it for this week. And we're just barely in the middle of Men's Health Month. So I guess the main thing I want to say is just don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. And there's more resources now than ever for therapy options, for all kinds of stuff. There's even more men posting stuff like, I'm always here for you. If you feel like you got nobody to talk to, you can talk to me. So you probably got some people like that in your life. Like just don't be afraid to seem like you're weak or something. Don't be afraid to just let go of that facade that you've got it all under control. It's okay to not have it under control. Nobody does. And sometimes I think the people that are so into everything being so regimented, at the root of it, it's seeking to control everything when you can't. And I know for me, that's where a lot of this comes from. It's a control thing. You want to control your environment, and you need to realize that you really can't. There's some things that you can do, but you can't control your environment. A lot of this is about relinquishing control and letting it go. So think about that. Talk about it. Don't be afraid to, think you're crazy for a little bit. Because I can assure you, you probably are. And that's okay. We all are. So that's all I got for you this week. So be well, and we love you. So till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.